Hello, welcome back to the Crafty Organizer. I'm Noreen Eppley, and I'm so excited for today's video. I have loved coffee bars ever since I first saw one on the DIYer, Shannon's Coffee Bar. I copied it right away, and I have made a whole playlist on the many times that I have updated it. And it's been one of my favorite things to stay on top of because it gives me a chance to change out seasonal decor. It gives me an opportunity to keep one area refreshed with items that are seasonal without having to redo my entire house. So when we moved into this house, there was a coffee bar way off to the side in the dining room. We immediately moved that so it was more central to the house. And I have been chomping at the bit to redo it, make it feel like more a part of the house and bringing it into my style. So that's what we're going to do today. There's honestly nothing wrong with this coffee bar at all. The only thing I'm not happy about is the wood is very orange to me. We had the floors redone and they were more of a cool tone with a little bit of a gray. And to me, the wood that's on the coffee bar is just, like I said, very orange, and against the blue, it just drives me nuts. So one of the first things I always do with a project is empty it. And the only reason I'm showing you this is because if you feel like sometimes the most overwhelming part is the prep, I'm with you. So I wanted to share the tedious amounts of going back and forth and placing spots with all of these little tchotchkes that I have lying around. Now, eventually I will be taking this apart and sanding the wood and staining it to actually match the floor. But it is still very, very cold outside, and sanding is not something I want to do when the garage is below 30. And the paint and the varnish will not adhere as well, so I do have to wait for it to warm up. But I'm an impatient girl, so I'm going to be using contact paper, which I've used in the past, and I love it. I am trying to decide which wood tone contact paper I would like. I thought the blue would be better, but it clashes with the floor. So I'm going to go with the warmer tone wood, just so it kind of matches. Now with all projects, just prep it first. Do a light wipe. The cleaner your project area, the better your project will turn out. So I'm going to measure the shelves and cut the contact paper to each shelf. And what's great about any type of contact paper is there's usually a grid on the back. I fold down the back of the paper about 2 inches so that it's easier for me to get things square and attach it without fighting with the contact paper. This is a trick I've learned and it helps immensely. Once you have it lined up, pull the rest back and then work from the center and spread out to remove bubbles. This is what works best for me. For the top, I started in the middle because no one's going to be climbing up, and I made sure to wrap it around so the underside, the area that's visible, would be completely covered. Here you can see the difference between the cool and the warm tone. I repeated this on the bottom shelf and the middle shelf, but I'm not going to show you all of that, and I just applied the same process. I peeled back the backing about 2 inches just so I could line it up, and then I slowly removed the paper, working from the middle out, and then I just wrap this around the bottom. This particular paper is by Fix, and it already has a faux grain texture to it. And there's little bumps. That's actually bumps from when the previous people varnished the wood. It should have been sanded. But beyond those little bubbles, I think this looks amazing. And I may not even resand it and stain it. We'll see how well it holds up. Now where I had to seam it, I take a marker in a couple of different colors and I just kind of blend the area and the wood grain together so that seam is less noticeable, and from far away you honestly can't even tell. Next up was the countertop. I wanted it to match the kitchen, so I got some white contact paper. And you know what happens sometimes when you just go with what you have? I did not have enough white contact paper to cover the top of this, which was not my plan. So plan B, and DIYers, we always persevere, we find a plan B. I just went ahead and painted this, which was the last thing I wanted to do. But what that did allow me to do is go ahead and do a faux marble finish so it really matches my kitchen counters. So I did a couple of YouTube videos. I got some acrylic paint from the dollar store and a lot of water. That's the trick with this. And I just kind of kept wiping it down. Lighter is better. and use the water technique with a couple of different colors to just keep blending it out and then blot it. This consistent technique of painting, watering, blotting, going back and forth, lightening it, actually made this look so realistic and matching the counters that we have. I went through with some white paint just to clean up areas and to mute it, but honestly, at the end of this to me looked as good as our actual quartz counters. Let me know if you've done this faux technique before, but so far I'm really happy with it. This is what our kitchen counters look like. They're a little too bold for me, so I did a lighter technique on the counter so that it would just kind of match my aesthetic a little bit more. Again, I just went through kind of following a veining that would go through. I would add, subtract, mute, and just keep playing with this. There is no right or wrong when doing a faux marble technique, and it really just depends on what you want it to look like. You could add gold, you could add colors in here. If you're interested in this technique, definitely look it up. There are a lot of great tutorials out there. I'm just showing you what I did, and I only got this information and these techniques from watching a few videos, deciding what would work best for me based on what I had and what my attention span is, and I just went for it. So let me know in the comments if you have done this before and how it worked for you. So here is the paper, and you can see I have a few seams, but you really cannot see those until you're close up. And you can see this paper has wood grain to it, which is just amazing. And now that the top looks like it has a marble finish, it looks like it was part of the kitchen all along. But what I've always loved with my coffee bar is the chalkboard on the back. So I absolutely wanted to replicate that again. I got my can of Rust-Oleum black chalkboard paint. The funny thing when you're painting this, my can anyway, it comes out dark royal blue. And every time I use this, it always makes me nervous of, did I not mix it up enough or did I pick the wrong color? But it does dry black. Now, the trick with chalkboard paint is you have to do a couple of coats, but here's what it looks like once it's all done. And I will show you on the next video how to prep the chalkboard paint, because if you just go drawing on it the first time, you will ruin it. But here's the before with that bright orange, and here it is with the cooler tone wood and the black chalkboard. And I'm so excited to really start decorating this. I just threw a few things for spring just to get me in the mood, because after this ice storm we had, I'm ready for some spring weather. When we get back from fixing the house in California, I will go ahead and update this, show you how to prep that chalkboard so that you can start drawing on it without ruining it. I'm just so excited to have a coffee bar again. The left side is coffee, the right side is wine and spirits, but I think I was able to tie in the coffee bar with the kitchen now so it looks more cohesive and together. I've always liked the black elements just popping in. I know that's not for everyone, but it's something that I absolutely love. This kitchen originally had gold fixtures everywhere. We've been slowly swapping them out or painting them. I did add this little shelf just to get some of the things that were on the counter up and to give more visual interest to this big area. Eventually, we're going to be getting rid of that cooktop because it doesn't work very well. And I definitely want to work on this wall, but this is going to need someone to help me. This is a little outside of my DIY knowledge, but for now, this is working. The next big thing I'm going to do is address this faucet. Again, I know gold is really in for a lot of people. It's not my favorite though. So I'm going to attempt to spray paint this with the black paint so that it just ties in a little bit better. These were some bar stools I got from the Goodwill outlet. You guys, the Goodwill outlet is something I hadn't gotten to try before. They have them here in Indiana and in Kentucky. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to bring you along with these. The finds that I'm getting there are mind-blowing. I got these chairs for $5 a piece. The only thing I did was reupholster them. This gray faux leather I got from Hobby Lobby at 40% off, so it was like $4 a yard. I redid these seats. I'm going to make cushions for these little seating nooks that are in these windows. And I'm also going to be working on it on a surprise that I'm going to show you very soon. Another thing in the future is that piano we took apart. I'm using the keyboard cover to make a mantle here at this little fireplace. And these side bookcases, I'm going to build a pedestal so that that crown molding, I'll lift them up and take it to the ceiling. There's that surprise I was talking about over in the corner. But I really feel like doing this tied in the coffee bar to my kitchen. If you are interested in seeing my past coffee bars, there is a playlist. You just have to go down in the description below and you can check out some of the other things that I've done in the past. Right now, I'm very happy with this. I was so excited to get to pull out some of the treasures that I haven't gotten to have out in a while and really enjoy them again. I hope you got some inspiration from this. Play with contact paper. I think it's one of the most underutilized items to completely change an area. I've covered furniture before. I've definitely done counters. I did my daughter's college apartment. We redid those counters almost a year and a half ago, and they are still looking amazing. So if you're looking to flip something maybe on a budget, or maybe it's not something that you own, or you're like me and you change your mind all the time, give contact paper a try because it really is one of the easiest ways to cover something without having to prep it and prime it and paint it and sand it. And it allows you to change your mind later and take it back to its original state. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video, which will hopefully be in about a week or two. Love you guys. Bye.